Welcome to Tourism Victoria County Podcast. Your host is Tom Wilson. My guest today is William Bakker, Director of E-Business for Tourism BC. Tourism British Columbia was one of the first destinations to include blogs and user-generated content in their online marketing strategy. Last November, Hello BC website won an award for innovation at Canada's first e-tourism awards. William, can you tell us a little bit about the award, your team, and of course your product?
Yeah, sure. We were pretty proud to receive the award, and we're very proud of the product that received the award, which was our Hello BC blogs. Hello BC is the DMO website for British Columbia, and last year we installed or we created a new piece of functionality where our staff and our consumers can blog about their experiences. And I have a great team back home of a manager and specialist who all contributed. I have a great technology partner called T4G out of Toronto, and of course we got great staff who have posted fantastic postings, and our travelers as well. So we were really happy to receive it.
I'm really interested in travel blogs, William, as most of the other provinces haven't really tackled the issues nor the benefits of traveler reviews online. Can you tell our listeners how visitors to your province can submit a BC travel tip?
Yeah, sure. The history behind the blogs is kind of interesting because it really started with Eric, who worked in our team. He moved on now. He came to me one day, and I think it was 2005, and he said, we really should be starting to blog. And of course, blogging, people are getting pretty queasy when you say it because user-generated content, oh my goodness, what are they going to say? So we quietly built a little blog site and started engaging staff in blogging activities, and it just took off from there. It was really successful. As a second step, we then went to our visitor center network that we have across the province, and we asked the visitor center counselors to share their experiences. So it was still manageable. These were still people that were somewhat within our control. That was a great success. And then finally, last year, we went to the final step to allow consumers to blog as well and integrate it into our core technology platform. So we have a few different sections in our blogs. We have, first of all, we have the tips from us. So that's where our staff and our visitor center counselors can share their experiences, or even if they hear something interesting and new, but talk about it from their own experiences. And then, of course, there's the tips from travelers, where consumers can create an account and share their experience, attach photos, tag the entry with what the destination was in BC, what type of activity. They can plot it on a map, all that kind of functionality. We also have a weekly podcast, which is a radio show that the CTC broadcasts every Friday with sort of upcoming tourism activities in the province. And they interview one of our traveler or one of our staff members who runs our visitor center network, and she's just super knowledgeable about the province. And what's really neat about our blogging is that it's completely integrated with our main website. So if you go to Vancouver museums, for example, we have a page about that, and we talk about the great museums that we have and the art galleries. So this is the official information, but right beside it will be the user-generated information. So you can see the official with what consumers say, and it really adds a whole layer of credibility to the website. And through research, we've learned that consumers really appreciated it. And I think the best anecdote is just last week, we got an email from a very small operator out in our Okanagan Valley, and they run a little museum there. I think they do something with trains. I forgot exactly what it was. And they phoned up one of our staff members, and they said, we had somebody from Ontario visiting, and when we asked how did you hear about us? They read about it at one of your blogs. So that's really a testament of the success of our blog.
That's great. Now, besides Hello BC blog, you have a blog of your own, and I noticed in the last couple of months you've been posting some really unique articles on how to market your small tourism business in the 21st century. Can you tell us a little bit about that?
Yeah, it was interesting how that came about, because I've been blogging for a while. It started because I moved to Canada from the Netherlands, so I started using my own websites to update my friends and family back home of what I was up to. And now over the last 6-7 years, it has evolved into more like an online marketing for tourism blog and sort of observations that I have and things that we have learned and do at Tourism BC. But when I talk to our tourism businesses in the province, and I do a lot of presentations, I started to add a few tips at the end. So I would talk about all the activities that we do at Tourism BC and all the things we do at our website. And then at the end, I would just have sort of 5 takeaways. And people would come up to me after and say, those 5 takeaways are great, and that's the best stuff. So I thought, okay, well, I'm really onto something here. And just from the questions that I get, I realized that a lot of, particularly smaller operators, they're really wondering what they should be doing in the online space and really how they should evolve their marketing strategies, big or small as they are, to leverage the online space. And a lot of the information out there is very detailed. It's very deep. It goes into, how to optimize your search engine, optimization for particular keywords. And the reality is that these small businesses, they don't have time for that. They, let alone money. They run a business and they have to make breakfast for their guests, and they have a family that they have to organize at the same time. The phone rings, they have to do their accounting. The last thing they want to do is run a search engine marketing campaign. So I created some 5 or 6 right now easy takeaways that small businesses can do, and I'm planning to expand on it, adding a few more and maybe go a little bit deeper into others. But really, easy things that could make a big impact. And a good example is small accommodation operators really should be checking their own accommodation in TripAdvisor. And for a lot of businesses that might seem obvious, but I've heard many times that operators just haven't done that, primarily because they just didn't have the time. And it can be a real eye-opener, and you can also respond to comments that people leave at TripAdvisor and really start using TripAdvisor as a marketing tool instead of being fearful of what people might say about you.
One of the comments that Todd Lucier made a couple of weeks ago here in Nova Scotia was that for a lot of tourism operators, they're very nervous about the online just because they're not really qualified or at least feel skilled enough to do that. And he mentioned, why not hire a summer student that knows how to go on Facebook, who knows how to put photos online, and who knows how to do the content, user content. What do you think of that idea?
I think it's brilliant. I mean, that could be my next tip, actually, because putting content out there in the the online space, and there's a lot of social networks where you can do that, is relatively easy and an easy way to connect with your consumer. And one way of doing it is to encourage your consumers to share their experiences on whatever is the relevant social network of your particular tourism vertical. So TripAdvisor is the obvious first choice, but then there's YouTube, there's Flickr, there's all kinds of things that you can do. And hiring a summer student to do that would be great. Another thing that I think is a good idea, but I haven't seen yet, although I keep talking about it, is an operator that starts a blog, but just about the background behind running a running your business. If you have a B&B, just talk about your family, talk about your house, talk about the breakfast that you make, maybe share a recipe or two. Really, then consumers really get that intimate connection with you and your product, because ultimately what they want is authentic experiences, and the typical marketing speak just doesn't communicate that, and I think that's where blog and user-generated content can be really powerful.